$100 of profit on this trade with my stop loss locked in at break even. However, what I'm going to do right now as we're speaking is I'm going to go ahead and trail my stop a little bit on this one, just because it continues to sort of trend higher here, and we're at a decisive point with the dollar yen idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually trail my stop loss, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark where I'm going to trail it. So I'm marking a stop loss here, 134.40. This is just a slight adjustment to my trade. It is nothing major, but I'm just going to move my stop loss up to 134.30. And let me make sure I mirror that and share that with the group inside of our Discord channel. If you're not already inside of our Discord channel, we do have one available. There is a free version. So give me 1 second. 134.30. Let me make sure that I got that correct. 134.30. Got it. Okay. And I'm just going to screenshot this and make sure that I get this shared with the group. So again, we are trailing stops further into profit here. You know what? Let me retake that picture because I didn't move my little reference line. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to move this orange line. I'm trailing stops further. And again, guys, in about 5 minutes, we're going to have GDP numbers come out, and we're going to watch that reaction together, see if there's any sort of spike in the market, and then sort of interpret the data that we get. We are expecting 2.9% in terms of GDP growth, and the market will react accordingly based on whether or not we beat or miss on those numbers. Okay, so let me go ahead and drag this image into the Discord for members. So like I said, we have a free Discord available. The link has just been dropped in the chat. We'll drop that link one more time. Here it is. We'll drop the link in the chat. If you guys don't have it, join the free Discord. Right now, currently what I'm doing is I'm updating to members the latest stop loss trail that I just did on USDJPY. Let's see. So I'm just going to make a little note here to members. Trailing stops further on USDJPY. Nice runner here, and locking in a bit of profit prior to this morning's GDP news numbers being released. Okay, so I just wanted to sort of drop that update. For those of you who are in there, just head over to Nick's Trades. It's this tab right here, Nick's Trades. You can see all of my trades being taken. And yeah, just trailed my stop loss further. We're trailing, I mean, it's only trailed in by about 28 pips, but still, I just wanted to tighten it up a little bit as we did get what I was looking for, which was sort of a confirmed higher low. Now, I have a way of doing this with higher lows. It's not magical. I like using a simple RSI. Check this out. If I look at like the 1 hour chart, you can see we printed a higher low. Technically, I like to use the RSI. It's a really simple indicator. It's not magical, but you can see we printed what I would call a higher low, and we bounced off of that level. So right here, we did that. So my next spot is to see if I can trail here. Should we get, so we got a higher low here, right? I trailed above, just behind there. We got another higher low here. I'm looking for a breakout in order to trail further. And that's kind of how I like to trail stops. It's not exact that way every single time, but that's kind of how I like to do it. So we've trailed stops further, locked in that move. And again, we've got 3 minutes until GDP numbers come out. We're going to watch those together. And let's see if we can find some more charts to look at. Here's the gold chart for those of you who are watching or interested in gold right now. What you can see here, I'm pulling up my StreamYard so I can see the chat. Gold here has pretty much rolled over pretty well off of this 50% retracement. So you had this big push down, retest, continuation kind of move. We're headed back down to lows, it looks like, and we'll have to see if that happens now with GDP numbers coming out, maybe causes a bit of a push. But for those of you who are watching gold, like I said, it's pretty bearish here for me overall, trending to the downside pretty nicely. In terms of price action, what I'd like to see before we see like another opportunity would be a breakout through these lows, right? So I'm talking about like a decisive candle underneath the lows, a retest kind of move, and then continuation sell. That would be of interest. But outside of that, gold doesn't really have anything for me. I'm not buying it here because it's in a downtrend, but I'm not selling it here because I'm waiting for some sort of breakout retest concept before getting involved with that. Guys, we've got just under 2 minutes now before the GDP numbers are coming out. As we mentioned, GDP numbers are expected. They forecast at 2.9%, and we are going to watch together to see in fact we get those numbers, we can update it here once it sort of drops. And we just took a look at gold. We took a look at USDJPY, USD CAD really quick. Someone mentioned it in the chat. So let's see. Dollar CAD looking really strong overall. Higher low printed, held this support beautifully. Very, very nice. Yeah, and now you've kind of got this next concept, right? So price breaks back down to here. Dollar CAD bulls might just be looking to continue the party, break and retest of this level here. Looks pretty good. You've got a 50% retracement. So for dollar CAD bulls, that may be a setup. I already have a dollar trade open. Like I said, I don't like to stack USD trades all at the same time. And so my trade that I am on is USDJPY. We'll pull that up just so I can watch the reaction to the news. And I've just trailed stops. For those of you who are members, just head over to the Discord channel, go to Nick's Trades, and you can see the updated trailing stop. And we'll watch these numbers together, guys. We've got about 20 seconds to go, and see if we can find anything of interest in terms of this this previous quarter's GDP growth. So bear with me as we wait for the numbers. And then what we'll do is don't go anywhere after the numbers. We're going to keep going. We're going to look around the room and see if we can find setups post numbers. That's really where things get interesting. Everybody wants to trade the spike. Let's see what happens, if at all. Little bit of a blip to the upside there and immediately getting faded here. Here's the 1 hour chart view of GDP numbers. And again, like I said, it can be, it's all dependent on how much of an expected, how much the number surprised people. And we're getting the numbers now at 2.7% GDP. Wow, interesting. Less than expected GDP there by a whole 0.2%, which is interesting. Quarter over quarter, 2.7% compared to the forecasted 2.9%. And weird. So you've got the dollar reacting positively, which is very, very interesting there. GDP growth. What about with the S&P 500? We're checking in with the stock market. Not much of a move there at all. USDJPY, though, breaking clean through our highs, which is, of course, excellent for the position. Still floating around $2,600 now. Price is in profit. And again, looking for some sort of higher high here. That will trigger me to trail my stop loss further into profit. This has turned into a really nice trade for us inside of the group. This one just keeps running, which is fantastic. We had some of my best trades ever have been on USDJPY. It is probably arguably my favorite currency pair. In the last couple of years, I've traded it probably the most. This and euro dollar. I mean, the two most mainstream, boring ones that everyone trades. That's my favorite. So, but yeah, why is the dollar up? Yeah, a bit of a weird one. I'm not going to lie. A little bit of a weird one. Seeing the dollar rally on this number here this morning. Yeah, that's interesting. Nick, remember Oanda trades closes your trades tomorrow. I don't think that is the case, unless I'm missing something. Oanda doesn't close my trades unless you get like margin called or something. But we trade small positions, so we're not at threat that. Yeah, USDJPY was up on that buy signal on the edge finder, so still holding strong to that. And again, look at how populated the edge finder is right now, guys. Markets are interesting. We've got euro dollar, NZD/USD, GBPUSD, AUDUSD, all as sells. Let's see how they're doing today. NZD/USD, look at that down low. Really, really nice continuation there. Euro dollar selling under the lows, guys. And this is really interesting. Check this out on an hourly chart. You can see price retested this zone of support that now we have to constitute as resistance. So we've got supply marked in here. What an interesting start to the morning. The dollar getting very strong on this news. Yeah, very strange. Official compounder file says, my first time here live. Hi, Nick. Hope you're doing great. I admire your work. Thank you very much for the kind comment. And thank you all for being here with me. We do these news events more often now than ever. If you're new to the channel, let me just ask you to do something. If you want to be part of these live streams more often, if they're helpful to you in any way, if you want to look at setups with me on a more regular basis, we do these streams all the time. The best way to get notified is hit the subscribe button if you're new, but more important, hit that notification bell. Some of you guys are already subscribed, but you're not hitting the notification bell. If you hit that notification bell and will allow all the notifications there, you'll get notified when we go live so that you can join in on the streams right away and you won't miss anything. So make sure to do that. Let's see, gold, guys, shooting down through the lows. briefly trying underneath. We hit a mark of 1820, printing a new low on this recent push here. Question will be if we can actually get down and perhaps even break that 1819 mark, which was our previous level of support where buyers got pretty strong. USDJPY, back to my trade here for just a moment. Look at that move, you guys, up $2,700 on that trade now. Really quite the move. And wow, yeah, that move just continues to run hot, which is great. And we're gonna have to trail stops already. That is wild to see. We are flying high there with the spike there this morning. Crazy. I subbed more than 3 years ago. Wow. I appreciate that support, and I'm glad to see that you're still on the trading journey, man. What's crazy is we have, as a trading community, we have a very transient society, if you will, because a lot of people come and they go in the trading industry. It's really sort of a bummer. Most people quit within a couple months of doing this stuff when they realize you're not going to make a lot of money with a little amount of money. It's going to take a lot of work. It's very difficult to do consistently. The emotions are hard. I mean, trading is not for everybody. And to say that it's for everybody is pretty ignorant. I think it takes a very specific type of person, maybe sort of a crazy person. I mean, I definitely can fit under that category. You have to sort of be obsessive about this stuff in order to really ever make it. And when I say obsessive, I mean long hours and willingness to learn and be humbled by the markets and tough times and great times. And it's a roller coaster, man. Looks like Euro USD wants to test 1.048. Ryan says 1.048. Let's see what that must be, a daily chart level. You're talking about down here. Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably a pretty reasonable target in terms of this move. We've really fallen apart on this euro dollar bull train. It has just completely sunk further and further. And I think that that's probably a pretty reasonable target in terms of where we could go higher time frame on euro dollar. We're talking 1.04095 here, and 48 is even lower, around right here. So I mean, very possible that we continue seeing that euro dollar sink. My bias, again, like I said, with where I'm already positioned, is bullish on USD. We're going to watch to see if we can hold any sort of gains here. Long euro? No, I'm not. I'm not interested in long euro. I've got my one trade open. I'm trailing stops here. I'm watching to see how this candle closes. At this point, I'm at a cool spot in trading. I mean, I love when I'm in this position. It's my favorite position to be, is when a trade is just running and I'm just trailing stops, right? This is the best situation in trading for me. I don't use take profits, right? Some people, and I'm not judging people that use take profits, but I don't use them. So when a trade goes in my favor, I say, let it run. This thing might go screaming to the upside for the next 6 months. And if that happens, I will be there trailing that stop loss. It's not a magical solution, because trailing stops suck sometimes. Because sometimes with a trailing stop, you're like, okay, I got this great runner. And then you trail stops to here and the market does this. And you're like, wow, instead of taking this, I took this, right? So trailing stops are not a magical solution, but I accept them for what they are. I accept that with that, you might also get scenarios where, you buy this market here, and then this market just keeps going and going and going, and you're trailing stops for a long time. And that's why when people look at like my trading performance, I've put out on my FX book, they'll notice that there's like very few number of big winners and a lot of small winners and a lot of break even trades and a lot of small losses. My trading is 95% of the time really boring and uninteresting and not cool and not fun to watch. Like, it's really like pretty mundane. But then every once in a while, you get a trade, you get that kind of runs, and it just keeps running and running and running. And this is why we talk so frequently about this on the channel. We talk about making your winners really, really count. Has really separated, has really changed trading for me over the long term. Letting winners become ginormous was the key for me. And again, maybe for you, it's like, well, I force trades, or maybe for you, it's I stick to gold, even though it doesn't work very well for my trading strategy. I just really like trading gold. Like, there's other things that you got to work through in your trading. But for me, my big thing was how to manage winning trades. I had this tendency when I first started trading to buy here. And as soon as that profit would show up, I'd be like, oh, give me that. Let me take that. But imagine had I just taken profits there, sure, the phrase you never go broke taking a profit, right? You've heard that if you're in the trading game for a while, you've heard that. I would actually argue in my experience and in my personal situation, taking a profit too early does point towards worse trading for me. Profit taking doesn't exist for me. I trail stops and I wait for the market to tell me when it's time to get out. If this thing reverses, get me out of the trade. If the market keeps going, though, I have that potential, that slim chance of capturing the ginormous trend that's going to make my entire quarter, right? Like, let's just daydream for a second. If you had a take profit set right here and you bought right here, can you imagine how much you left on the table? And yes, I know you're daydreaming for something, but this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the one-off trade where I buy something like this market just screams higher and I trail this stop loss and I trail this stop loss and I trail this stop loss and then I get tagged out. And this one trade was like 10R, right? This to me, that's how I prefer to trading. I know I prefer to trade. I know that's not for everybody. That's just how I personally like to do it. That's what I have found to be the most profitable way, not the most consistently profitable way, right? Because sometimes you have losing streaks and it's rare to find a trade that works out. But then when the trade comes, it really, really makes it count. Hey, Nick, with the recent numbers update and with your experience, would you say USDJPY will go up and until which price? Well, I would say that dollar yen is going to go up. That's why I'm long, right? So I am already long. But again, I am a reactive trader. So I don't really believe in saying like, well, I think USD JPY will go all the way up here and then it will turn around and then it will start to like that is intangible. It's too frou-frou. For me, this market is trending up. It has fundamental factors I like. I bought this because the dollar yen looked really good on the edge finder and married up nicely with my technical strategy. And we can walk through this. This is why I took this trade. COT data. Institutional money is long USD and short JPY. Retail sentiment. The crowd, the average trader at home is short USD JPY. 66% of retail trading positions here, according to our data from broker client sentiment. The dollar yen is on their short list. They're selling this thing. So if they're all selling it and they average lose money, unfortunately, I'm going to be more on that long side of things. And then we have an upward trend. Don't go against the trend, right? The first thing you learn in trading. GDP growth and interest rates favor the US, while inflation and unemployment favor Japan. So economic numbers, not super favorable. However, even with the latest numbers, which came out at 2.7%, this is going to change to 2.7 on the next update, which the update for this data that we have here, I believe is hourly for economic numbers. We have scripts and stuff that automatically pull the new data and such, which should update soon. We have 2.7% as of the latest, which is why we're doing this stream. But yeah, so overall we get a +4, we get a buy bias. So I was like, okay, I want to be long dollar yen. Then I lined it up with my technical strategy and I pulled it up and price broke higher, pulled back, and bam, met up with my technical entry criteria. I took the trade, stop loss below, trailed it now into profit, and we continue to let this winner run. This is how we take trades over and over. I find a bias through the edge finder, right? Buy bias. Okay, cool. Then I go to the chart and I look for a technical setup. I manage my risk. I do all the good stuff that we always talk about. And that's how I'm able to find the periodically really good trades that I take. No magic. I'm just reacting to what price is telling me. We just put in a higher high. Okay, great. Market is looking very healthy here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to trail stops. And at the end of this hour, once I finish this live stream, I'll be updating my trade further for those of you who are inside of the Discord group. And two things I want to tell you guys about. Number one, if you don't already have the free version of the Edge Finder, get access to our data. Our company here, A1 Trading, we specialize in building tools and data for traders. If you don't already have access to the free Edge Finder version, check it out. It's got some cool features that might be helpful to you. Click the link that's being dropped in the chat right now. The producers just dropped that for you. So behind the scenes, we've got some people helping us out with the stream. So get the Edge Finder for free. Click that link, fill out the form, and once you do that, you'll be sent information on the Edge Finder as well as access to the free version, and it is genuinely free. It is you are going to get a limited version, but it's still free stuff. So why not try it out? See if it's something that might be helpful to you, and who knows, it might be something that helps you out in your process for finding better trades. On top of that, the other thing I want to tell you about is of course, the Discord. So if you don't have access to the Discord, we'll also drop the link to that. We share analysis on a regular basis. So if you're not already in the Discord, we share trade ideas and updates and analysis and free PDFs that you can download to help you with your trading. So again, this is free game. If you don't have access to it, you're missing out. Grab access to it today. So there you go. Let's see. So dollar yen continues to push higher. How's that gold chart looking, guys? Gold, we actually have a sell bias again on. The Edge Finder went back to sell bias here on gold, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Gold, yep, -3. So we can pull up the gold chart here for just a moment, go under commodities, gold, and look at this. This is kind of interesting, guys. Edge Finder giving us a -3. Now, that's not a super strong signal, but it's a signal nonetheless. And ooh, you know what, guys? Gold is about to get a. This is really interesting, guys. Check this out. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see this very well. I know it's a little bit small on your screens. GDP growth just came out, and it's going to flip our final fundamental category to bearish for gold. Because again, this data hasn't updated yet. It updates hourly. Truthfully, we are working towards getting that to be faster. But let me tell you something that just changed. We just saw GDP numbers come out. Oh, you know what? Actually, no, I'm speaking wrong. GDP numbers came out at 2.7%, which is going to be down under expectations, which actually stays bullish. I apologize. I said that wrong. Regardless, though, 4 out of the 5 here still pointing towards bearishness on the gold market. And as we look at it, again, gold, you can see on the chart, looks really super bearish, price breaking down to the lows. And as we near the lows, the question will be, can we get that breakout lower low, right? Inverse of what we've been talking about on the dollar yen. For the gold sellers out there, they might be in a similar position where they're just trailing a stop and letting this thing run. And if you put that lower low in there, you might even attract further sellers on a retest. So I think, gold actually has some serious opportunity. And I'm interested in shorting gold if we can get a break and retest. So that might actually be something of interest for me this to close out the week. I'll keep an eye on this one. Probably not going to go much lower time frame than the 1 hour chart. So if I'm looking at the 1 hour chart, this is a bit of a specific entry. So if we're drawing fibs, maybe like that 38.2 to 50% retracement, which lines up nicely with our zone here, right? So you had support came in, floor fell out, right? Gold shot to the downside. Retest in this area might be interesting. So gold sellers, keep an eye on this one. I like it on the sell side. We'll have to see how that plays out. So yeah. Yeah, very, very interesting to watch gold here this morning. GBPJPY. I'm going to stick to USD pairs just for now, just because we just had USD news and things are moving on the USD pair, so I don't want to take the attention off of those for now. But we will do GJ perhaps in an upcoming stream or video. Sorry, I know you're probably interested in GJ. Maybe you have a trade on or something, but I'm just going to stick to USD pairs for now. Pound USD, man, we loved this thing on the sell side recently. Look at this. I know not everybody loves their trend lines. I'm not, a ginormous advocate for trend lines by any means, but for just simply recognizing lower highs and lower lows, which we talk about very often on the stream, you have this kind of concept going on, and price respecting this level here for now. This is quite interesting. I mean, it looks like price wants to retest the lows. And if that happens, again, you're talking break retest kind of concepts might be interesting. GU is not my favorite of the list personally. I much prefer euro dollar and like dollar yen longs, which of course I keep coming back to. Trade is still running hot. Look at this. Look at that. The dollar yen just flying here today, reminding me why it's my favorite pair or one of them. I really don't like to, I know a lot of people say like, oh, trade one specific pair or two specific pairs. Well, I mean, the dollar yen, I love it when it's setting up correctly for me, but when it's not, it'll go like, there's several periods of time where I don't take any trades on the dollar yen because things are just not setting up anymore. Right? When this thing was trending down, I didn't like it. I didn't like trying to buy it. I didn't really like shorting it. I'd prefer to short other things because again, the positive swap here for buying is pretty juicy, and holding a short on dollar yen is very costly. If you know, the swap rate here is advantageous when you're long. You get paid to hold this thing long according to your broker. Speaking of which, we're going to show you guys something in a second. We're going to go to talk about a broker where you can get positive swaps if you don't already have it. You get positive swaps for holding this thing long. Speaking of that, like I said, we've got a partner that supports our content here called 8cap. And real quick, we're going to just give you guys a little bit of a rundown and some of the awesome offers that 8cap has offered you guys as followers here on A1 Trading. We'll switch over to that now. Check it out.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Real quick, I want to remind you guys that today's stream is sponsored by 8cap. 8cap is an award-winning regulated broker that gives traders a better trading experience. If you choose to trade with 8cap, you'll be able to trade CFDs like gold, Forex pairs, cryptos, indices, and more. Additionally, their spreads are razor thin. They offer up to a 500 to 1 leverage, and their customer support is top-notch. One very cool new feature is that they've recently partnered up with TradingView.com, meaning that you can do all of your trading through 8cap directly on TradingView. If you're a fan of the channel, 8cap has partnered up with the A1 Trading team to offer our community a free copy of the A1 Edge Finder. Yes, that trading tool that you see Nick using on all of his streams, the same tool that helped him find that awesome USDJPY trade that he's in right now. You can get that for free, and all you need to do is sign up with 8cap and deposit $1,000 or more. Click the link in the description down below to find out more. 8cap is the best in the business, and that is why we are proud to be sponsored by them. Click the link in the description, sign up now, deposit $1,000, get the A1 Edge Finder for free. Thank you, 8cap. Nick, back to you.
Fantastic. And thank you, James, for that. James, I told you guys there's a producer behind the scenes. There's actually two of them, and they do an awesome job to make these streams possible. And these streams are only possible due to the fact that we have sponsors. This stuff is costly to do, but thanks to a sponsor, we are able to do it. And it makes monetary sense so that we're not all showing up to work and losing money. So there we go. We have that offer with 8cap. And if you don't already have access to it, all of that information, like James mentioned, will be linked down below in the description, and you can actually access the Edge Finder for free. So, yeah, cool stuff. Dollar yen, man, this thing just stays strong. And right after the stream, I am planning on trailing this stop loss further. And I say right after the stream because again, I'm waiting for this hourly candle to close. As long as it closes strong, put in that higher high, I'll be trailing this stop loss and happy to do so. So keep an eye on that. For those of you who are already in the Discord, I'll be updating it in the Nick's Trades section. And I trailed stops already, so just letting this thing run here now. Crazy. I mean, I didn't expect such a move from the GDP numbers, but we really flew on those. US 30 thoughts? Yeah, let's see. Did we get any sort of US 30 reaction here? A little bit, but nothing crazy. Very interesting to see how GDP numbers are really impacting the dollar, but not doing much to stocks. That's really quite interesting. Can you do USD CHF? Yeah, let's look at USD CHF. Also making a move higher. Dollar Swiss looking pretty attractive. I think, does the Edge Finder have this one as a buy as well? Yes, it does. +3. It's not a +4 like dollar yen, but still +3. And we can pull this one up just for convenience while we talk about it. Seasonality, the month of March also seems to have some strength for dollar crosses. USD gets strong in March, historically speaking, and that might be interesting to keep an eye on. You get +3 institutional money long. Retail sentiment's pretty mixed here on USD CHF, 58 to 42. Trend reading to the upside. GDP growth favors US. Interest rates favor the US. Inflation and unemployment favor Switzerland. Yeah, really strong upward move there today. Strong push. Same as dollar yen. I like it on the long side. Like I said, I think the move has already sort of happened. And similar to the dollar yen concept, the move, the pullbacks were back here, right? I know I'm speaking in hindsight, but I did take the trade. Now, full transparency, before I got into this awesome trade, I took a loss on a trade before it. I tried entering on this candle, I think, and unfortunately was stopped out on a few candles later, but I re-entered after hitting this support zone, and now we're rallying really nice. So, just full transparency. It's not like I just called a sniper entry and now it's just all profit from there. I took some losses in order to capture this trade. And sometimes that is just part of that's why we don't risk all of our account on a single trade, because I'm going to get it wrong very often. And then every once in a while, catch it really, really well. And that is all I have to do as a trader. I don't have to catch 100 perfect trades to make any money. I just have to catch a good trade here and there and really work with it and let it run. Can you look at USD CAD? Sure. USD CAD continues to trail higher here. Really, really strong push there. I mentioned earlier that if price dips further into like the 50% retracement, lines up with support, I like it on the long side, but at current prices, nothing up here for me. So like I said, a pullback into that 50 lines up support level really nicely. I'd be interested in the long side, but at current prices, not really interested. So that would be my take on it. I mean, I didn't take this trade myself because I was looking at dollar yen and I was already in on that trade at the time. But this level here, this past resistance looks really like, obviously, in hindsight, it worked out beautifully, right? And so the similar concept going to the future would be, in my view, like that 50% retracement, looking for a chance to get involved and continue to be in the uptrend. That's how I'd be personally looking at it. So yeah, we look at NAS 100. Yeah, NAS 100 though is really kind of boring this morning. Didn't really see much of a reaction to GDP numbers. Though sitting at support, I still think I'm generally more bullish on the indices, but I don't have setups on the Edge Finder for that to really justify getting long myself. For a little while, we had bullish setups on the Edge Finder for indices, but no more. In fact, US 30 even getting a sell bias. So I'm not going to get long the indices currently myself on any sort of trade basis. USD CAD gets a really strong buy. So if it does give us that 50% retracement, that might be a setup for me. At this point, now I've got my dollar yen trade running so hot and I've trailed stops on it. So I may be interested in maybe picking up another dollar trade. Dollar CAD is in the running for that, I think. Euro USD is another one that I was kind of interested in. And Euro USD breaking through these lows looks pretty good. I mean, breakout there, support held, broke through it here this morning. Now kind of retesting into that zone. Targets in terms of euro dollar down at 1.0. I mean, it gives you plenty of room to the downside there. So let's see, 1 hour chart. Shoot to the downside, prices pulling back. I mean, I do like Euro USD short. I just don't know that I want to add to my dollar trade just yet. Unless it's like oh my gosh, this is a screaming opportunity. I'm going to be hesitant to add to my dollar position as I'm already in a pretty good sized trade there. Gold, look at that. Wow. Look at that. Gold shot off of that low. Beautiful push off that. That's a really, and guys, that's like on the last couple of minutes, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. Last 10 minutes, we've seen gold push all the way off those lows, came down to the previous low, barely tapped into it, and then shot back up the other way. That's going to be an interesting candle to close on. Very, very interesting. Gold came all the way down and shot back up in the very same candle. Very interesting to see what is going on with my keyboard. See, I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I have a wireless keyboard. I kind of hate wireless things because maybe I'm just old fashioned, but a lot of times they like lose connection or the battery runs low or something. It's like, at what point is the convenience no longer convenient? If it inconveniences you. I don't know. Usually it's fine. I'm just being complaining. Dollar yen is still staying strong, which is really interesting. So you had the gold chart reversing strong, but the dollar yen chart not reversing nearly as strong. Gold is Danny says gold kind of tricky for me right now. Yeah, gold is tricky right now. That is a weird candle close, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Because that gold chart sold off, came right back down, and it's looking like it's gonna close in that support zone. If anything, that's really pretty bullish looking price action. Now, of course, as you guys know on the stream, we don't overvalue technical analysis. I talk about this often. I think new traders, they overvalue technical analysis and undervalue fundamental and sentiment. I've said that for a long time, but just because we get a pin bar does not mean, oh, we're going to scream up from here, right? It's not that easy. Overall, conditions still favor a bearish trend, in my opinion. So despite this candle closing like this, I'm not going to go long on gold. We're still in the downtrend. I'm not going to, overhype that. Could it rally a little bit here? Sure. But again, I think the more juicy trade, the more interesting trade is to the downside. So, but despite that, that is an impressive candle close for the bulls. Look at that shot down here, and in the same candle closing, there it is, the close, new candle starting up now. Very interesting to see that thing close with such a long wick on the bottom. And that's going to be it for dollar yen. I think dollar yen also closing really bullish and continues to be a really nice little trade here for me. So price closed outside of resistance. That's going to be means for me to trail stops. I'm probably going to go. I'm filming this trade, so I got to go update my my trade video there, and I'll trail stops and share that within the Discord for those of you guys who are in there. So keep an eye on that. I'll be updating that here in just a minute. Now, next up, we're going to have Miko joining the stream. Miko is a regular contributor to the stream. He's an awesome trader, technical guy, really gets into the charts. He's more of a swing trader, which I always love hearing what he has to think because, we're both swing traders. So with that said, we'll bring in Miko and say hello to Miko Audu. How's it going, man?
What's up? Hi, Nick. Thank you for having me on the stream.
Of course, happy to have you back. Last week, Miko, we talked a little bit about yen pairs. Were you able to catch any of the yen movements?
No, unfortunately, the zones that I mapped out, price was not kind enough to come and retrace for me. I was looking like pound yen, CHF, JPY, CAD yen as well. I was mapping out some lower levels on the 4H, and they were kind enough to retrace me on the lower time frames. There were some trades, but on the 4H, yeah, I didn't get anything. So unfortunately, no trades for me on the yen pairs.
It happens. I mean, honestly, I'm finally in a good trade for myself. But the last few weeks I've missed like my dollar idea. I was so bullish on the dollar as it started breaking out, and I just missed trade after trade. So it
Yeah.
happens to everybody, but it is frustrating to say the least. So feel for you on that one for sure. Regardless, moving forward, looking ahead, any ideas? What are your thoughts on today's movements, and what are you looking at personally?
Well, yeah, I've jumped on the old dollar bullish train with you coming into this week. So I've actually hopped into some shorts and pound USD, which I entered
Okay.
yesterday. I've been looking at a few dollar pairs. I was looking at a lot of USD CAD this week, but unfortunately missed the trade here. I think we had some CAD news and USD CAD started flying, so unfortunately missed that one. But managed to get into some pound USD shorts. I'm currently in this one, looking for prices to get back to these lows here. So this is my main focus. I do have a small position in pound NZD, which is a trade I was in last week, but I've already taken most of my profit. But yeah, pound USD, I'm still looking for more dollar strength. So any kind of pairs that represent dollar strength, I'm interested in, but for now, just pound USD.
Very nice. Yeah, no, I liked that pound trade as well. So I'm glad to hear you caught some of that action. I mean, I really liked uh just of the euro dollar and pound dollar, I like the price action more, but I just wanted the sell on euro dollar as well. So I didn't catch either one, but it was because I chose out of the three, I chose dollar yen. But pound USD is still looking really good. And what I love about dollar or pound specifically is that if you catch a good move on the pound can just be very rewarding very quickly. It can
Yeah.
really sink or fly really quick. So if you catch that short and it really dumps on you, that'd be awesome. So cool stuff there for sure. Miko, I'm going to back out of the stream. Before I do, let me remind everybody, if you guys enjoy Miko's analysis here, go find his YouTube channel. We'll link it in the chat right now. If you guys would like to go check him out, make sure to subscribe, tune in for his content. He does some live streams, some great content. And again, if you're looking to sharpen your technical skills, he's your guy. So thank you, Miko, for coming on. I'm going to back out and you enjoy the stream, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you. So yeah, what is up, people? Hope everyone is doing good. Like Nick said, I'm a bit more of a technical trader. So I'm going to go through some technicals today. So I'm going to go through some charts that I'm looking at for the rest of the week going into next week as well. Like I said, I'm only trading pound USD now. There's a few other pairs I'm looking at, but quite frankly, if pound USD starts hitting my targets, I'm probably just going to be a bit selfish and just stick with pound USD to the end of the month. If something else does look really good, I'll probably look to enter. But yeah, the main pairs I'm looking at, like I said, is mainly dollar pairs. I'm hoping USD CAD can retrace. This one is having a hard time at these highs. It's still very, very bullish. We're seeing a bunch of higher highs and higher lows. I'm still looking for USD CAD to come back into these highs up here. So I am looking to see if USD CAD will be kind enough to come back and retrace to either one of these levels. And then I'll be happy just to follow that momentum to the upside into those highs. So again, that could materialize because price is really struggling to break out that consolidation. We could potentially snap lower to go higher, which will give us some nicer entries to go up. So we'll be focusing on 1.347 and 1.345 for some long ideas. Pound USD, I'm already in. Euro USD, I'm not too much of a fan of. It's quite corrective on the move down. I've been speaking about Euro USD quite a lot this week. I said the shorts look good. You know, I'm looking at DXY quite a lot, and I favor the DXY to come back to, I think it was like 105 something, 105. 105, yeah, 105, 250, 105, 500. I favor the DXY to hit those levels, maybe by end of this week or maybe next week. But Euro USD is just so corrective, and I don't really like trading pairs which are kind of slowly falling. I like when we give this nice, strong impulse movement and a nice, healthy retracement, and then look to follow momentum after that. However, Euro USD is just very, very messy. So until that cleans up, until we see more momentum come into Euro USD, I'm not really interested looking to short it. USDJPY, I'm still quite bullish on that pair as well, which Nick is trading. I'm actually hoping this one can retrace a little bit deeper, but obviously that'll take Nick out of his trade. So we'll see what happens, but I'm still looking at areas back down here to long. See if we can get some entries around 133 to push that back up again. We've got really nice structure, got the low, high, got the low, and price is obviously still making new highs. So I'm looking for a bigger pullback to go along on USDJPY, and same with some of the other JPY pairs, CAD Yen as well. I'm looking for a move to the downside to long this guy as well, like I said last week. But again, the market just hasn't been kind enough for me on the 4H time frame to get any of these entries. So I think the yen pairs are probably just put to one side and focus more on next week, because I doubt I'll see the retracement I'm after within the next half a day and then tomorrow. So yeah, it's most likely next week I'll do anything with the yen pairs. But for now, I actually was looking at pound NZD as well. Pound NZD was looking to actually trade. Like I said, I do still have a small position in pound NZD from last week. Last week I entered down here, so I still have a small position on pound NZD. I was looking to see if I can get some more entries at this area. However, I opted out. Couple reasons coming to the end of the month. I'm happy with pound USD. And number two, I'm shorting pound USD. So I'm shorting pound, but then I'm looking to buy pound NZD, which doesn't really make too much sense. So I just want to kind of stick with the pound USD short. So I've got now. If that fails, it fails. If it wins, it wins. But I don't want to kind of go both ways, which could just mess up profit and loss together, really. So I would have looked for entries here. This is a really nice entry candle to go long, stop loss below. But like I said, I wasn't really interested to go long on pound NZD while shorting pound USD as well. So yeah, those are main pairs I'm looking at. I'm also looking at AUDUSD as well, see if we can snap out of this kind of corrective structure here. The market has been falling to the downside very, very slowly, but consistent with the lower highs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm loving the lower highs there, but obviously support is holding. So buyers are still pretty firm right now. So I need evidence that price is actually breaking through this, give me some strong momentum to the downside. I'm happy to look for the retracement for the next lower high. To short back down, I've got some targets down here, which I think AUDUSD can probably get to if we see the momentum continue. So yeah, AUDUSD, I need to see that break of structure first through those lows, and then I'll entertain on the next pullback. So yeah, those are the main pairs I'm looking at. Any other pairs you guys want me to see, take a look at, just leave it down in the old chat. Okay, I have no idea where Nick finished and where I picked up, so I'll just start in a random little place. Take a look at AUDUSD. Okay, we'll take a look at AU, no problem. JPY inflation come in, just took AUDJPY, long entry 92. Okay, we'll take a look at AUDJPY as well. Again, I'm still pretty bullish on the yen pairs, but I do want them to retrace for me to actually get some entries on. Like I said, probably won't be till next week till I personally do anything with the yen pairs, but we'll still take a look for some entries this week. Moch A, what is up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you on the stream. Danny, what is up? Well, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Gold, take a look. Pound yen. So, okay, I'll go for AUDUSD, AUDJPY, gold, and we'll go for pound yen as well. So yeah, AUDUSD, another dollar pair. This one, I need some retracement. We just recently taken out the lows. So now we need to see a lower high for me to do anything. Personally, I'm looking at price coming back to some of these areas here for some trades, and then looking for some confirmations, probably on the hourly time frame, maybe the full H, depending how price retraces, because I do think there's a lot more downside for AUDUSD if my analysis on the higher time frame serves me well. But yeah, it's similar to AUDUSD. We've got a bunch of lower highs here, and same with AUDUSD as well. We've got a bunch of lower highs. The market is slowly turning bearish from bullish here. We had a lovely trending market to the upside, but it looks like we've just seen a very, very slow kind of gradual reversal. So I'm looking at AUDUSD coming back into these lows all the way down here. And now I just need to see some healthy retracement to get involved, because recently we just swept these lows. So now I'm expecting a pullback. We could potentially fall, yes, but I'm not really interested to do anything at these prices. I want price to pull back and give me some nice test of 0.688 or 0.69100. These two areas. Now I'll start considering to get some entries. So yeah, AUDUSD, more downside. Like I said, still pretty bullish on the dollar. So all these dollar pairs, I will be bearish on them, apart from obviously that USD CAD and USD CHF or whatnot. But yeah, AUDUSD, the structure's clear. Lower lows, lower highs. All we can ask for now is to see some good pullbacks to get some entries. I'll take a look at AUDJPY as well. You said you're in a buy or on a short? Can't remember. A long entry buy, 92,157. Stop loss 98,158. Let's have a little look. See. Okay, so 92,157 is around here, and also 98,158. Wait, your stop loss is at 98. I suppose that's your target. Yeah, your stop loss can't be above your entry if you're buying. And I suppose it won't be 98. You're looking for a buy all the way up there. That is crazy. So very confident, brave trade if you're looking for a push all the way back to highs. I'll give you my analysis anyway for AUDJPY. I'm still pretty bullish on this one. It's a little bit corrected. We're having trouble at the highs. So I'm not overly bullish, not enough for me to actually start looking for trades myself. But I did say there would have been some nice entries down here. Didn't quite get there. We had some good confidence down here around 91,500. As you can see, lovely level of resistance there. Gave us a nice down move. Big push to the upside. So I did favor a possible buy around here with this trend line. Obviously, price didn't really test that. It's still a valid area. So if the market does come back down, that could still be a good place to look for some entries into 92,600. But yeah, the fact that we are failing at these highs is not a good sign for AUDJPY, and a sign that we might actually roll over. So if you do get into any buys, I would suggest make sure you're getting, you're taking profit around those highs at least. If you want to target higher, feel free, but this is obviously showing signs that the market's failing to break through. So it's definitely a place where you want to secure some profit at least. But yeah, AUDUSD is still pretty bullish on that one until we start snapping through structure. But yeah, giving some red flags there with that resistance. Gold, we'll take a look and move on to pound yen after. So gold, last time I looked, was pretty bearish. Okay, so gold has just seen some new lows there. Interesting stuff. So gold, after seeing these lows, might actually see some upside now. It might see some upside because this push to downside has been very corrective. So I did say on my stream earlier today that we might bounce from these lows here because of how corrective price has been. We haven't really been flying. I mean, we haven't really been falling strong with with gold. We did see lovely momentum off the back of NFP. Did see some nice movement there, decent there, but now we're starting to get a little bit lackluster, lacking some momentum, and we're getting some wick rejections down at those lows. So even though I'm still pretty bearish for AUDUSD, keep saying AUDUSD, I'm still pretty bearish for gold. We're still seeing consistent lower lows and lower highs. It just doesn't look like a good short anymore. It doesn't look like a good short unless we pull back to maybe back to this resistance. I mean, you've got a bit of a range at that point, so even that doesn't really look too good, to be honest. But yeah, gold, personally, I'm waiting for buys down at 1800, 1810. Really key level here on the weekly and the daily chart. You can see key support a couple times, resistance as well. I do think we could probably see a nice bounce from this level if we get some good signs of reversal. So I'm actually just waiting for gold to get here. I'm not really fussed about the price actions, very corrective. I don't really like trading structures that are very kind of tightly knit like this. There's not a lot of room and a lot of wicks as well, so very prone to get stop losses just very unnecessarily. So I'd like gold to head down a little bit further. I'm not saying there's clear trades to short. It just looks very corrective. So I think it's much better to wait to see if gold can come back to this higher time frame level, see if we can get some signs of reversal, break of structure, some higher lows being printed, and then we can look to see if we can take advantage of some buys in the opposite direction. But for now, because gold is still giving us those lower lows and lower highs, I'm still bearish until we break that structure. But yeah, my area of interest is definitely at 1810, 1800. That's just way too messy for me to do anything with. Excuse me. Okay, so pound yen, we'll take a look. Pound CHF, I'm seeing some indices requested, so we'll take a look after that. So pound yen and pound CHF, we'll take a little look see. So pound yen, like I said, is a yen pound interested in. It did react with this level here. I want price to come a little bit lower for pound yen, but looks like it's having a good time at that level, just above 162. So pound yen, I'm looking for price to come to 165, 164, 500. And it looks like it could be on its way. I had some good confluence at this level here, around 161, 750, 161, 600. So I was looking for pound yen to come a little bit deeper. But it looks like this high is proven to be quite sturdy and the market's having a good bounce from it. So pound yen, I'm still bullish on. We've recently snapped through some key highs here on the left. As you can see, very consistent with these higher lows. And I would expect price to continue that pattern to the upside until, like I said, we get that break of structure. So pound yen for me, next major target, 164, 500, 165. This is a very important low. We could potentially reverse from there. This was key support, broke through with a lot of momentum. So it tells me that we've got a good chance of probably reacting with that level if we go back and test it. So yeah, pound yen, buys do look good. That would be a nice entry confirmation there on the hourly couple of hours ago on that hourly candle close. Yeah, and that's a really good 4H close as well. Nice bullish engulfing. You can see this bearish candle came strong to the downside and flipped bullish very quickly. So I do like that price action. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of buying pound yen right now since I am selling pound USD, which does kind of contradict one another. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm still pretty bullish on the yen pairs. So that includes pound yen as well. Pound CHF, we'll glance over. Pound Swiss, where are you? There you are. Yeah, pound Swiss, a lot of people have been requesting pound Swiss. I'm not too sure what the fuss is about. Price action is looking controversial. And by that, I just mean not great. I like price action up here. I mean, I like if price was to get up there because we got a lot more, resistance around there, a lot more confluences, especially from the higher time frames as well. Pound CHF is definitely a bearish pair on the higher time frames. You can see the market is been falling for quite some time. So we could see a stab to the upside, print another lower high, since that has been our theme for quite some time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially can print another one. So I do like the confluences up here, but in this area, I'm not really seeing much. We've got a strong, sturdy support that the market keeps rejecting. This is kind of like the middle of the kind of wedge pattern, which is kind of a no-no. Don't really like trading within this area. See the price is down low, we can look for buys, or up high, and we can look for sells. Here's just it's a middle of nowhere for me, not much confluence going on. So pound CHF, I'll wait for more upside for this guy, back to 1.135, and then we can start to see what price actually we can get on the full H hourly. And even after that, the risk reward looks really healthy as well. Short up high, stops somewhere, maybe above your entry candle, whatever, and push down to 1.11. Risk reward's a lot better as well. So keep an eye on that for pound CHF, but I'm not a big fan of the current price action. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some indices. I'll take a look at NAS 100 as well. I'll take a look at US30 as well. So NAS 100, what's cooking over here? I've been quite bearish with the indices, NAS 100, US30, US 500. I'm expecting to see a lot more downside for these guys after the big push to the downside. So, which happened, was that yesterday? No, day before, Tuesday. So these are the areas of interest. We're actually coming into that first level quite nicely right now. So if you are looking to trade NAS, I'll start monitoring 12,250 and also 12,425. These are the two levels that look good for some shorts. If you can start seeing some good signs of rejection here, I do think it could be time for tumble for these guys here. On the higher time frames, we're still seeing consistent lower highs here. As we can see, we've got the major high up there, next lower high, and potentially next lower high after that as well. So I'm still pretty bearish on the indices from the daily perspective anyway, still seeing those consistent lower highs, haven't broken through any significant structure yet. So I still do favor more downside for US 100 as well. 12,235 is a good area of interest, broken support with really nice momentum as well. Now we're coming back into that area. If that fails, we've got the second level here at 12,425 to look at as well. So keep an eye on this. We're coming in really nicely now with some momentum. So if you start seeing some good rejection here, you could actually get an entry in the next few hours. If not, maybe it might be better to pick up tomorrow, maybe London or New York. But nonetheless, it's looking like a good setup there for US 100. And US 30 as well, look at more downside. This is the level that I gave out for US 30. Still, price is nowhere near there right now. But if we can pull back to those prices, 33,500, I do really like it. Price has had numerous attempts to go bullish here for US 30. You can see all these big stabs to the upside, big wicks to the upside. Market is really trying to rally. We did have this very slow bullish trend here to the upside, very, very corrective. We did have some steady higher lows. However, the market has really failed to go bullish, and this general area of resistance has held. So I'm expecting price to start picking up to the downside now and start holding resistance and start printing some nice lower highs for us. So this was a lovely trend line here, broke through, briefly did held there, but broke through for some nice momentum. So now 33,500 was a key level of support. It's now flipped as a very key level as resistance. So we'll be monitoring that for some entries there. And a push to these lows looks very good as well. Even this level here, because the market's starting to reject that level now, as you can see, big push and also big wick there as well. So now this level is going to be of some importance there as well. But yeah, 32,543 is a good target. Long term, we could actually be heading back down to those lows as well. But in the meantime, we'll look at retest of 33,500 for some shorts back into 33 and then 32,543 as well. So yeah, hopefully that made sense for you. But yeah, for me for now, definitely bearish on these indices. Okay, so where are we? Okay, I'll take a look at pound USD as well. That's actually the pair I'm currently trading. But yeah, I'm currently short on pound USD, looking for more downside, looking for us to return back to these lows here and to this one yesterday at 10. 10 a.m. UK time, by the way. So on this Audi candles where I entered the market, really nice entry signal, big bearish engulfing. Price was coming into some key levels here on the left. Had a really nice reaction with the fib, 0.618. Lovely wick rejections on the 4H time frame, as you can see there as well. Now I'm looking for price to return to these lows. I do have my first TP just at this level here, which is not too far away. So hopefully we can see some downside back down to 1.198. And then I'll start looking to secure profit and actually go break even on this trade. But right now, I haven't taken anything off the table. I'm still full risk, full position on pound USD. Stop loss above that. So I'm just going to see how this one plays out. But I'm still pretty bullish on the DXY. Like I said, still seeing some higher highs and higher lows. Recently had a really nice break and retest of this resistance here. Potentially could see DXY come back and retest it before going bullish. And if this happens, I think this could be a good opportunity on many dollar pairs to actually start to go short many dollar pairs. So if we see something like this, it translates to a nice pullback for AUDUSD. It will translate to a nice pullback for Euro USD as well. It will probably translate to a nice pullback on USD CAD 2. Break out of that range, push to the downside, come to these areas. So if you do see something like that for DXY, I do think we could probably see a lot more upside. But my main target is still at these highs. So if you can break through them, then I'll expect price to continue. If not, we might come back and revisit 103,800 before we go and do that. But yeah, nonetheless, for pound USD, short bias, looking at price coming to down to some of these levels here. Had a really nice original impulse. We had a nice bear flag retracement, another impulse to the downside. I'm looking at another bear flag retracement for another push to the downside. So just basically repeating the same pattern. Impulse, bear flag, looking for another impulse, which is not really impulsively moving right now. It's quite corrective, so that's not the best sign, but we'll stick through the trades. High time frames look good as well. You can see we've built great new highs there, so we have a lot of confidence in our favor and looking for price to return to these lows. So we'll see how pound USD develops, but I am still expecting more downside. Thank you, Nick, for introducing us to Miko on your channel. Love your work, and Miko's He's much appreciated, March. Didn't know it was through Trade Nick that you found the channel. Miko, would you say that Euro Yen is bullish or bearish or ranging? Good question. We'll take a look. USD, we'll take a look as well. No problem. Okay, so Euro Yen, bullish, bearish, ranging. To be fair, if you can't tell if it's bullish, bearish, or ranging, it's best to just leave it alone. To be fair, because if you can't tell if it's bullish, bearish, or ranging, it's probably ranging, and it's best just to leave it alone because there definitely will be clearer markets to trade, or the market you're looking at might clear up in a couple of days. But yeah, you're kind of right with all of them. You can see here the market is technically bearish. We're seeing lower lows and lower highs here. As you can see, consistent low lows and low highs. Potentially could see another one form in comparison to this high. We're also still seeing higher highs and higher lows here as well. You got the low here, higher low, use some higher highs. And also you can kind of consider this to be a range as well. So it's kind of all three in one. I did say, I'm pretty bullish on the yen pairs, but AUDJPY, NZJPY, and Euro Yen as well is not really looking that good to trade anymore. CHF CAD Yen, USDJPY, those yen pairs look a lot better, and those are definitely the yen pairs that we're focusing on. But Euro Yen is kind of all three, so you're kind of correct all three ways. And quite frankly, I was looking at this level for the retest, but when I was looking at it, I didn't really like it because the breakout was very, very corrective, as you can see. If the breakout was strong, like we saw in pound yen, you can see breakout in pound yen was very, very impulsive to the upside, snapping through this resistance here. So that breakout was good. However, Euro Yen's breakout was really, really rubbish. You can see we broke to the upside, and ever since the breakout happened, we saw very, very corrective momentum, lack of momentum, not really going anywhere, and now we've kind of pulled back into the zone. So yes, we're having the break and retest of this high. It still could work. We could still see some upside, but it's just not a very high quality breakout, and you want to be focusing on the high quality breakout. So it will help with your win rate, and just generally speaking, your trading altogether will be a lot cleaner. Not to say it won't always work, it will always work, but it will work more often, which is what we want as traders anyway. So yeah, Euro Yen is actually all three, and quite frankly, I'm not really looking at it. I'm waiting for some more development, some more clarity. because yeah, it's kind of doing all three at the moment. So hopefully that understands your question. Basically, the answer is it's doing all three. Better to move on to other pairs to trade. And USD still stuck at support. You can see the market's having a hard time to break through this. I said for USD, I'm still expecting more downside, but the fact that we're having such a hard time at the support is not a good sign. I did say, even though I'm bearish on dollar pairs, I think there could actually be some nice buys for USD if you can break out this range to the upside, clear 0.62579. I do think there could be some nice buys on the top side of that level, because right now price is respecting a pretty key daily level and having a hard time breaking through. If we see a nice pop to the upside to show the buyers have actually won the battle, out of this kind of mess here, then the break and retest could look decent, and we could probably take a nice buy. It might not be, it might be short-lived. It might be short-lived, but I think it can be a decent trade opportunity there, maybe in the low time frames like hourly or 30-minute. But yeah, I wouldn't marry this one because I'm still pretty bullish on the DXY. You can still see the higher highs and the higher lows the DXY is printing. So I don't really want to go against that. And if we do see a downside move, then yeah, as the USD might see some upside, but I don't think it will last too long. So if you're looking at trading as the USD, focus on the breakout of this range here. If we start breaking to the downside, that could look good to the downside and get some nice shorts there to take it further. Same with the upside as well. They both look equally as good. Just need to see how we break out to actually get the entries. But yeah, right now it's messy. It's consolidating. So I would just leave that price alone and focus on some other pairs that look a lot better. Okay, I'll finish up with Euro AUD. Okay, so Euro AUD, where are we? Okay, so Euro AUD, yeah, this one's messy as well. I don't know what price is doing here. It did break out of this trend line here. Price was seeing some nice downside, but it finally broke out this trend line. So that kind of loses some of its technical edge to the downside. It was starting to see some higher highs, but we haven't actually closed above them. Price is still hanging on to this resistance for dear life. So with Euro AUD, this to me is again more of just a ranging pair. We've got some key support down here, which the market seems to be holding quite well. We might see another move back down to the support level, potentially see another bounce. We might see price coming deeper to these lows again. All I'm seeing is a ranging market. So if you're looking to take advantage of a market like this, I'll just stick to the extremes, to the highs and the lows. So resistance here, 1.56 will look good. I'll probably focus on 1.525. This level is very, very messy. We're breaking above it and below it many times, so it's losing its meaning. But yeah, if you see another stab to the upside, some good rejection, there could be some nice short-term sells there. Just basically taking advantage of the ranging market. But yeah, I like when I see some nice clean trends, and that is definitely not one of them. But yeah, we have come to the end of my segment here. If you guys want to see more of my analysis, my trading, feel free to check out my channel. Pretty sure Trading Nick and Anyone Trading have left some links to my channel, so feel free to check it out if you want to. But thanks again, A1 Trading, for having me on. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. But I'll be passing over to Marco now.
You hear me now? Okay, so let's try to continue like this. I think it should be okay now. Okay. So basically, okay, great, Chandler. So I'm gonna continue. Any questions, guys, or any pairs you want me to analyze, put them in the chat. I will get to it after I finish my 6 pairs. EU is basically moving in a descending channel. One more thing, so I'm only going to be doing the 1-hour chart because I'm only trading the 1-hour chart. So on the 1-hour chart, EU is moving in a descending channel. Like we can see here, I'm a trend trader, so this does not really give me much confidence. This is not a trend. One thing I do know is after a descending channel, price usually starts trend in the opposite direction. So any trades that happen here, any sort of entries or entry setups, I know will be high probability because I'm expecting the price to go up. You may be wondering, why do I expect the price to go up? Well, the methodology is the retail traders are being taught to basically buy the reversal. So maybe they see this huge wick, then they buy, or perhaps they see this huge blue candle, they buy here, this candle here, perhaps they buy here somewhere, or potentially here on this wick, and they get stopped out each time. So more and more stops are accumulated underneath these lows, and the market makers just keep pushing the price into these stops, basically triggering the stop losses and filling up their long positions. And that is why I expect the market makers to push the price up sometime soon. If that happens, I will of course look to buy on an entry pattern, either a flag or on a break and day retest. That is why I do like descending channels. So if we get a push up, I will look to buy. That is not the rule. So the percentages are, let's say, 70 to 80% when you see a descending or an ascending channel, price reverses. But of course, in the markets, no one knows 100% what will happen. Price can go down. If price does go down, I will look to sell, but it is no longer as high probability as it was if it went up. But if I get a nice large push down, if I get a nice established trend, for me an established trend is a large push, pullback, and then another push. Now we have 2 impulses and a small pullback. For me, that is a nice established trend. So if it goes up, I'll look to buy. If it goes down, I'll look to sell. Currently not showing me momentum up or down. EJ is looking like it's reversing. Basically, I'm seeing a potential descending channel right here. Why do I think it's a descending channel? Well, because each of these moves after we break the major low is not really showing us much momentum. Instead, the breaks are really small and the breaks are really weak. So I am expecting the price to go up. Currently, I am starting to see some momentum of the price going up. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive large blue candles. So I'm looking to buy here, but then this red candle is kind of now rejecting massively. So the momentum looks to be shifting to a downside. Looks like this move up will not be sustained. But again, if it does continue, I will look to buy on nice impulse and a nice pullback. With this red candle being like it is, the probabilities are that this will continue to descend or either range. That is what I can forecast. Yes, so at this point, it did look good, but unfortunately, the next candle is now forming a momentum shift to a downside. So my theory is no longer in play, I would say, and I'm more expecting a range or a move down. If we get a move down, if we get a large impulse, then I will look to sell on a flag or a break and day retest To be honest, the whole market looks very, very range bound. So what I want to be looking for is something like this. This was a nice uptrend, and this was where I looked to buy. Basically, this is what I like to see. Current price action on most of the pairs I trade is pretty range bound. So we can move on to the Aussie US dollar. Aussie US dollar is also descending. Looks very similar to the Euro US dollar. Again, why am I not saying that it's trending down? Well, because I look at the breaks, the most recent low breaks. Here, broke, retrace, broke, printed double wicks, broke, printed a huge wick, broke again, wick, broke again. Just one candle, retraced. Again, left a wick. Again, just one candle and retraced. No consecutive momentum, no real strength, so not a downtrend. What I am looking for is I am looking for a push up and then to get in on a nice buy setup. As I said, this is descending right here, so I am expecting for the price to move up. Any setup that forms here is high probability, and I can be more, let's say, lenient with the setup. I can possibly ignore some warning signs. If price decides to go down, so if we get a large impulse down, then of course I will look to sell, but it is no longer that high probability. Then I'm just counting the impulse as the only good sign. But if it goes up, then, so if we get a push up, then this whole thing is part of the setup. And as I said, it's a really high probability setup. So let's see if there are some questions. Let me open the chat quickly. Okay, so Euro GBP, Euro JPY. Sure, so we will take a look at all of them a bit later. Now let's finish up the 6 pairs. Basically, next one on the list is AJ, Aussie Japanese Yen. It's not looking good. It's not looking promising. Basically, what I'm seeing is, again, another descending and then a reversal to the upside. But unfortunately, it was not sustained. Right here, after this descending channel, I definitely expected the price to move up. And as you can see, the next 3 candles had some strength in them. Bullish consecutive blue candles, definitely a good sign, but unfortunately, it did end with sort of a momentum shift. So we started getting some large red candles, and then price broke the high retrace, broke the high retrace again, basically moving from a descending channel into now an ascending channel. Major warning signs. So the market is very range bound and the markets are very sleepy, I would say. What I'm looking for in this one, I'm just looking for the price to move away from the structure. Large impulse up or large impulse down. That's the only thing I can hope for. Anything that happens here is very low probability, so I'm just being a lot more patient. And as you can see, the overall price action. When you see this sort of price action, do you think it's moving up? Do you think it's moving down? Or is it just in a flat range? I would 100% say it's in a flat range and it's not showing me absolutely any potential of a trend. So patience is required. The pound, I know that traders before have looked at the pound. For me, on the 1 hour, I'm not seeing what I want to be seeing. So at this point, there was some potential because I was seeing a nice pattern. I do trade market patterns. Basically, I saw a V, a range. Usually when you see a V in a range, price impulses up. I wanted this to continue, but it did not continue. Instead, it broke the high, retraced, broke the low, retraced, broke the high, retraced again, and just continued ranging around. So not a good sign, not something that I want to be seeing as a trend trader. And yeah, we broke the low retrace, broke the low retrace again. So we are kind of moving in a descending channel right now on the 1 hour chart, but it's just coming from a range. So prior price action is range bound, which when I see a descending or an ascending, the best case scenario is like a downtrend and then price slowing down and descending. That's a good case. Or after an uptrend, price starts ascending and then it reverses in the opposite direction, and then I get in on some sells here. So this descending just is not coming from any sort of a trend, which makes it even less probability. So I'm just looking for a large impulse up or a large impulse down, to be honest. So a large push up, large push down, and then an entry pattern. I use two entry patterns, basically the flag like this, or the break of the high and then a retest like this. Okay, so that's about it for the pound. Unfortunately, this forecast is kind of boring because everything is range bound, so no real action in the markets. But 70% of the time, markets are range bound, so that's the reality. Trading can be boring, and if it's not boring, then something is wrong. So trading should be boring, because if it excites you, if you're excited when you take a win, when you take a loss, that is a sign that emotions are in play, and you don't want really for the emotions to get the better of you. So we need to keep the emotions in check. Of course, everyone experiences emotions, but we need to keep them in check and be aware of them. So I believe trading should be boring, and the more bored you are, the more you can follow your plan, the better your trading results will be. Because if you get excited, then FOMO comes in, then the fear of loss comes in, then you want to be over trading, over risking, all of the classic mistakes. So New Zealand Japanese yen, final one on my list. This is the final pair I trade live. Just heavily range bound, absolutely nothing here. Now, this may not be such a warning sign or such a bad sign, because this is a accumulation phase or a distribution phase, or however you want to call it. Basically, what we had prior, nice uptrend. So this is what I want to be seeing. To buy or to sell, these are trends. After that, we got this huge range. So usually what happens after this flat range, price does explode to one side. So if we get a trend up, then I'm very interested in buying, or if we get a trend down, I'm very interested in selling. Why do I say that this is not really that bad of a sign? Well, because it's kind of flat and it is accumulating. It's not really that bad of a range. I think, or at least in my opinion, that the bigger players are accumulating positions here. So what I don't want to be seeing is something like this. Basically, erratic price action. Huge move up, huge move down, huge move up again. That's not really an accumulation phase. For me, this is a nice accumulation phase, and it's flat. So the moves are not that erratic. This would be erratic, for example, but it's more like stuck in this one box. And it's getting tighter and tighter. So what do I mean by that? Well, you can see the range here and then the one here. The price action is getting tighter. We just measure it. So let's say from here to the top, around 80 pips, and then here, let's see, from here to here, around 40. So the price action is being squeezed, and I believe we can soon wait for a breakout to the upside or to the downside. If we do, then we look for something like this, and then we, of course, look to potentially buy. Okay, let's take a look at the chat. Okay, so we're gonna do Euro GBP. GBP. Let's take a look. So this pair I don't trade live, but I can give you my analysis. As a trend trader, this is currently in a range bound phase right here. On the 1 hour, I'm identifying this range. So it's kind of a choppy pair, to be honest. What do I mean by that? Kind of moves like gold as far as I can see. Basically, leg up, range, leg down, range. So for me as a trend trader, that's hard to analyze. But what I would advise is waiting for more momentum and then either waiting for a sell or waiting for a buy. This, if you're a trend trader, should not interest you. This is range bound. Okay. So GBP JPY, we can do GBP JPY. Book FXCM is the data I use. This one is looking a bit cleaner. So it's looking descending here. Prior to that, this is what I want to see. Basically, this is a nice trend. Can you see? This, also this, then a range here, then another push up, another push up right here. And now it's kind of descending. It may just be a pause after it continues. A really good high probability pattern that you may notice in the markets is we can get sort of a push up or down, and then price descends and then continues up, and then descends and then continues up. Basically, it is a trend, but with very deep pullbacks, such as this one. So I would not be surprised if this does move up. If it does, I would, of course, look to buy on an entry pattern. So what I do like about it, I like this momentum up, and I like this descending channel structure. So that's about it for GBP JPY. I will also do gold because I do know most of you trade gold. I don't personally, it's too choppy for me. I don't really like how the price action moves. And to be honest, currently this is range bound. So yeah, this has been pretty choppy for a long time now. The last good leg that we got was right here on the 3rd of February. That was the last nice sustained move. Push down, pause, continue, and then pause. Continues again a bit, but then just slows down. So for gold, I'm currently seeing a descending channel, but it's also very wicky price action. So a good lesson would be when you see loads of wicks, such as you can see here, basically wicks all the way here, wicks here, that's a sign of a range bound market. And if you're a trend trader, that's a warning sign. What you want to see is look at these moves, for example. Sure, we have some wicks, but nothing like here. So sustained moves without many wicks. For example, even this move up, even this V reversal, not really loads of wicks. This move also. Now, if you're not seeing much wicks, well, that's a good sign that there is momentum in the markets, and that possibly the market makers are ready to make a large push up or a large push down. So wicks are very important and very crucial. And when I see wicks, I usually avoid taking setups. Okay, so can you do Aussie US dollar? So we did Aussie US dollar, EJ, pound, EJ. Okay, so we can do AU again and EJ again, no problem. Basically, AU, for me, it's descending. As a trend trader, I want to be more patient in this area. What do I expect to happen now? I do expect an uptrend. So I do expect something like this. And I would look to buy in this. Like, why am I expecting an uptrend? Well, because of go and backtest, see what happens when you see a large ascending or descending channel. Usually after you see a descending channel, price trends in the opposite direction, because most the retail traders are taught to, let's say, buy the reversals. So in each of these legs, they keep buying, and their stops are beneath the most recent lows. So they get taken out each time in these small areas of liquidity. Their stop loss gets hit. Market makers fill up their positions. And once they have filled up their positions enough, well, then they start a nice uptrend. So in my backtesting, I have found in, let's say, 70 or 80% of the cases, when you see a nice large ascending or descending, price tends to reverse in the opposite direction. Currently, as a trend trader, would I be buying or selling? No. I'm waiting for evidence. So I do not just blindly buy here or here or here. I do wait for a large impulse. So I wait for something like, well, let's say something like this. Large momentum up. It's not really a good example, maybe more something like this. I'm waiting for consecutive blue candles, and then that is confirmation that the market makers will reverse the price, and that is where I come in. So that's it for AU. EJ, for me, so same thing. Descending channel here. And I am expecting for the price to start trending up. So we have gotten a start of an uptrend right about here. Price did start to go up, but unfortunately, it looks like this candle is now showing us a shift down. So this trend up is no longer sustained and no longer shows me evidence of a strength to the upside. So I would wait for a bit more. But again, my analysis is that I believe this has high probability to start trending to the upside, just that the price action is not clean enough. So that's my analysis on EJ. And so let me see. GBPJPY. So, okay, I can do GBPY quickly until we have to end the stream. Yeah, so as I said, I'm expecting this to go up. I believe this has a 70 to 80% chance of going up. As I said, a common market pattern is push up, slowly descending structure, and then it continues. Slowly descending structure, and then it continues. So that's a common market pattern, and this is what the market is printing right now. So did you say that you were in a sell, or let me just check? Bought at 162.423, 162.423. So my bias is for this to go up. That is my bias. Again, I'm not sure what strategy you're trading. I would not just blindly buy or sell without a strategy. I don't personally trade this live, but for my backtesting, I do believe this will eventually continue up. At least the probabilities are on the side of going long. Again, in the markets, anything can happen. I cannot tell you with 100% guarantee is it going to go up or down. I can only tell you in percentage. This can just as well shoot down. And again, yeah, we never know if the markets will go up or down. The win rate in trading does not really matter, in my opinion. Only thing that matters is the risk to reward. For example, my win rate is around 30%, 35 maybe on some good days. And the risk to reward is around 7 to 8 RR. So basically, that is what is important. The winners are much bigger than the losers. So I can take many, many losers. I just need one winner to pay for them all. And that is why we don't even need to know if the markets will go up or down. We just need to know if it goes up, will it go up substantially? Or if it goes down, will it go down substantially? And then you can play the risk to reward ratios in your favor. So that would be about it for the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, A1 Trading. And I will see you guys in the next stream.
Thanks again for watching today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to continue to share free value to our audience through daily videos and articles, keeping you up to date with the latest market coverage. If you enjoy our content, make sure to subscribe for more. And remember, if you open a $1,000 or more trading account with 8cap, you'll receive a free copy of the Edge Finder. Click the link in the description below to find out more. From all of us at A1 Trading, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.